good morning, everyone, and welcome to my channel. I'm Reina Creole, of course, keeping it real when it comes to theme parks. And no, you're not seeing things. Usually on Saturday for the past, I guess, 2 years or so, I've been out at the theme parks in the morning. But in Florida right now, we're on that level in Super Mario where the sun is trying to kill you. So I'm not going to be out there in the middle of the day on a Saturday. So guys, get me here in the studio answering your theme park questions, talking about the theme park news. And as always, theme parks are always more fun when you hang out with friends. So, with me today, right now, we have got Ron Bradley of Follow the Badley's Fun. How are you doing, my dear?
You know what? I'm pretty good today. It's an up day. So and hey, yesterday apparently was National Fries Friday or like French Friday. So I've gotten 4 different things of free fries in the last 2 days. So all of that cholesterol will be great.
Really?
Yeah.
I did not
Today
know.
Today, anybody can go into the McDonald's app and get French fries of any size without having to buy anything else for free. So go out there and grab your free high cholesterol fries.
Wow. I can't even remember the last time I was at McDonald's and the only thing really that's good at McDonald's is the fry. Well, there's two things that are good at McDonald's. One is the fries, and if you are over in the UK,
Oh,
they still fry their apple pies in lard. Oh my gosh, it was like being a crystal. No kidding. It's like I was in London and like I was at McDonald's. I'm like, all right, nah.
Scotland's McDonald's was way better than anything I ever had over here. So Scotland was phenomenal McDonald's. It was also real.
Oh my gosh, I was insane. I'm like, this apple pie smells like the way they used to make them. I guess here in America, some idiot, well, the food police decided, hey, let's bake McDonald's apple pies, and people are like, hey, how about we don't? And Crystal, which is a chain in the South, is like, yeah, we still fry our apple pies in lard, which is why they're so not popular.
Good, love Crystal.
So let's see. We're going to go ahead and get ready. I think Vash will probably pop back in a minute. I think he had a technical issue. But first of all, let's welcome 16 of you guys so far in here. Thank you so very, 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 very much. We're here in the Theme Park War Room podcast. So glad you guys are all here. First off, thank you, Jacqueline Covey, for subscribing. I sure do appreciate that. I am trying to get to 10K subscribers by the end of the summer. I'm trying to get to Ron's level. So I'm hoping you guys can help me out with that. You guys are amazing. So thank you, Jacqueline, for subscribing. Let's see who else we got here. So many of you. We have got Rust Sarah in the chat, and I see your question. We're actually going to get to that because that's actually one of the topics for the show. For the show today. Oh, there's Bash. There we go. Hey, how you doing?
Internet died. Sorry. Guys, I was in the back, I
Gremlins.
swear.
Gremlins, man.
Oh,
Gremlins.
I think Lorena
I
had
hate the
them
router.
on my stream yesterday, right?
Yeah, I had them. I had them
Gremlins are out.
yesterday. I had Professor X look like, don't look at me. I already know what I'm not supposed to do. But we're glad we're glad you're back. No worries, no worries. Let's see. We got Russ Sarah in the chat. We have got Melissa Bell in the chat. Melissa, we're gonna talk about Dollywood because we have a very interesting survey that I'm not surprised about whatsoever, but Disney might be surprised about it. So we're going to talk about that pretty soon. And hanging out with Erica and Roth. Hello, my dear. Pretty soon, I'm going to have Erica popping in on the channel. We're just doing some scheduling. So I'm very, very much looking forward to talking with her. And I have somebody else to nerd out about the Christmas market in Germany. Oh my gosh. I mean, true story. Since I grew up in suburban Philadelphia. There's Christmas markets all over the place. German Christmas markets all over the place. Even a town
Right.
called Bethlehem. That's like the big thing. You go to the Christmas market that's there. Went there, then went to the Christmas market over in Nuremberg, Germany. The only difference is at the Christmas market in Nuremberg, they find out you're American. They try to get you to drink a lot. That glue wine is on point. That's all I'm gonna say. Oh, and Disney actually has the recipe right. I'm shocked. I'm shocked to tell you. John the Beagle Dad is here. Hello, hello, hello. Kathleen, Bad Tuesdays, like anxiously awaiting your show. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Glad you are here.
That's my mom. Hi, Mom.
I have to do this. Hi, Ron's mom. That's how the kids do it. I don't know, Mom. Let's see. Aaliyah Epps is here. We have got Lonnie Holcomb here. Says, hey, Lorena. Howdy, folks. Good to see you. Coach O'Dragon is here. Good to see you, my dear. We have got KB here. We have got Northman JH here. We have got Two Penny Puppet. Hello, says in the house. Yes, glad you are here with us. Ana Greco is here. Says hello there. Well, hello to you. We have got Teresa in the chat. Good to see you with that lovely, lovely rose. Folks, if you are a fan of Tolkien and just fantasy in general, follow Teresa's channel, Ms. Martin Muses. She has it on lock. And thank you for that question. We're going to talk about that as well. I got it marked. Let's see. We have also, you are very, very welcome. Very welcome. Yeah, I tell you, it's a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful experience. I wanted to stop telling people that I was American because every time I do that, I would get some kind of drink that I did not recognize. And it was really good. I'm like, it's really cold out here. And then I had a certain drink and I'm like, okay, it's not anymore. Oh, California Dream. I'll tell you what, we'll address that. We'll put that up on we'll put that on the pile. So many great stuff. So many great questions. I love it. Hey, Dylan, good to see you. Good to see you. And Heather, great question. We're going to get to that too. Great questions. And if you see my streams, you know I'm a snack fiend. Oh, not the shortbread cookies. Oh my gosh.
It's my wife's
Not
favorite.
the shortbread cookies. Not the shortbread cookies. Jim Taylor says, hello, all. Hello. Well, good to see you, Jim Taylor. I'll tell you what, since we've got everybody in here right now, let's see. Let's go ahead and get started. We're going to get to your questions. Actually, this is going to line up perfectly with the first question. Boom. Did you hear about Dollywood being the #1 best theme park? Magic Kingdom #3. That is funny. Have you gentlemen heard about the latest, I guess, survey results with regards to theme parks?
Mm-hmm.
I have. Yes. This was
And,
oh, go ahead.
I was just going to say I'm not surprised. That's all.
I was going to say I'm not surprised either because I believe Dollywood has topped the top 10 charts in the past, especially amongst regional theme parks. To get on a more, let's say tourist-focused stage with the inclusions like Walt Disney World, not surprised at all.
Yeah, it's a great location. The last time we didn't go to Dollywood, but the last time I was in the area was 2017 when I believe it was Hurricane Irma came through here. I don't think Lorena lived here yet. Is that correct? It was 2017. You weren't down here yet, Lorena?
No, I wasn't here yet. No.
Yeah. Okay. So we decided that we would all get away and the first idea, I was actually going to drive to Branson, which is where I came here from, and and then we we saw that the storm had shifted directions when it was actually going inland right that way. So we headed the other way, and we went up to Gatlinburg and Pigeon Forge, and we stayed a couple nights there, and it was really nice. The area, Gatlinburg and Pigeon Forge, is so gorgeous, and you'll find this interesting. Unlike the bayous of Louisiana, Gatlinburg has actual real mountains and real drops along rivers and streams that you can go down. It'd be amazing if somebody wanted to theme a ride after that.
Wow. I have not been to Dollywood. Dollywood is one of, how would I call it? Its reputation precedes it, and it's up there on the bucket list along with, and Dylan is in the chat. He'll know what I'm talking about. There's Nobles theme park in Pennsylvania. It's all I know is everything is freaking fried, and it is just the cutest, coolest little park. And I think Nobles, I think it's more towards Pittsburgh, but Nobles is one. Dollywood is another. Smoky Mountain Christmas. I have such fond memories as a kid of watching Dolly Parton's performances. And then when she was going to build this park, Dollywood, mainly for, to bring jobs to that particular area in Tennessee. I'm like, how cool is that? And then people were coming back and talking about, you got to visit Pigeon Forge, Tennessee. And I'd see the pictures, especially Smoky Mountain Christmas. That is on my bucket list, to do Smoky Mountain Christmas at Dollywood. And I am so not surprised. It's literally up there, I want to say, with Disney World on places to go. And pretty much everyone that I know who's gone there has just raved about it. So apparently TripAdvisor, which is a really good site to check out. Sometimes it can kind of get a little like Reddit, but ignore that. For the most part, I found TripAdvisor's ratings and rankings to actually be pretty accurate. So if you want besides us and besides that park place, if you want a non-pixie duster impression of the hotels near the Walt Disney World Resort, go to TripAdvisor. Really, they're very good. So apparently,
I can
in the
recommend
past. Go ahead.
I can recommend a really cool hotel in that area. It's called Brookside Resort. It's there's a stream that runs right behind it. It's a really, really nice resort, and they've kept it up over the years. We stayed there, I don't know, 30 years ago or something like that, maybe more, maybe longer, but it's still nice. And I wanted to ask Vash a question about this real quick. Because you've got all the history and all the would you say that Dollywood has also risen in popularity over the years since Opryland in Nashville went down? Because Opryland was like the park of that area, but I really think that Dollywood has kind of taken that audience as well as added to the audience that they already had. What do you say about that, Bash?
Oh yeah, the Great Opry has been a tourist destination for decades now, and Opryland was a big component of that, obviously. But yeah, ever since it did kind of go down, I believe Dollywood has absorbed that clientele, like you were talking about before. Also, too, the musical heritage of Dollywood has really, made it synonymous for just providing great entertainment in general. Something that the current Disney parks and maybe even some other parks have lacked over the years, as other parks have declined in their entertainment offerings. Dollywood has really maintained that. And so I think it's coming from that perspective as well. Also, too, I think the attraction mix at Dollywood, I think they made some really good decisions in the past in terms of like which attractions to actually go for. I know, I think the first Rocky Mountain Construction coaster conversion was actually at Dollywood. So they made a lot of smart investments. Not all of them have worked out swimmingly, at least operational wise, but they are popular.
Well, I love this quote here from Dolly. She says, "I'm proud. I'm so proud of the work my people do to make Dollywood such a great place for families." Dolly said, "When I started dreaming up Dollywood all those years ago, I hoped it would be somewhere folks were excited to come visit and enjoy time together. To hear that they are leaving so many positive comments about their time here really shows what we're doing is working. In the current world, I want Dollywood to be a place where the light shines every day." Wow. I mean, and just hearing that, it's so different from what we hear out of Disney corporate.
Yeah, that's true. Oh boy. uh, it's such a positive light shining message. I mean, there's a quick funny story. I almost worked for Dolly almost a long time ago.
Oh,
I
really?
actually, yeah, I was tentatively cast at the Dixie Stampede in Branson, Missouri, and would have gone to Myrtle Beach to train. But at the same time, I was also cast in Joseph and the Amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat, and ended up choosing Joseph only because of the possibility of my allergies with horses interfering with the job that I would have had with Dixie Stampede. However, if I would have taken the job and passed all of that, I'd probably still be working there to this very day. So
Wow.
life takes interesting turns sometimes, is all.
Which is true, which is true. Well, let's actually we'll pop over here so you guys can see the ranking. So Dollywood in Pigeon Forge, Tennessee is number one. Universal Islands of Adventure is number two. I am not surprised
Amazing.
by
Oh,
this
cool.
at all. For folks who don't know, a lot of Imagineers that got laid off from Walt Disney World worked on Universal's Islands of Adventure Park, and it is. I mean, sight lines aside, honestly, you're really not thinking about the sight lines. You're kind of thinking about which attraction you're going to line up to go to go on next. Literally, it's like, where's the next one? Where's the next one? You know. So you have Island of Adventure. Magic Kingdom Park is number three. I think for nostalgic reasons, that one is there. And then, of course, Universal Studios Hollywood, Universal Studios Florida, Silver Dollar City in Branson, Missouri. I know about Silver Dollar City. Funland, I didn't know about. I've never been here. Have any of you guys heard of Funland before? I have not.
I barely heard of Delaware.
Yeah, I'm like Delaware for me is the midpoint between Philadelphia and the Maryland house, where usually you stop, gas up, use the bathroom, get Dunkin' Donuts, and basically say, "We are not stopping until we get through Washington, D.C."
Right.
I just
That one is.
Wayne's World, Delaware. Imagine being magically whisked away to Delaware.
I love that joke. It's so good.
That's it.
Oh, so sorry. I do apologize. Didn't mean to interrupt there. What's surprising to me about this list is that, what I would consider the greatest theme park in the world, Disneyland in California, didn't even make it onto this list, but Universal Studios Hollywood did, which
Wow.
is pretty alarming, because I've kind of thought in my own head, like, if I go back to when I go back to California, which should be around the holidays, when I make it back there, which park do I want to go to more? And I really did think about that, and at this point, Universal might be at the top of the list, which is pretty insane because, yeah, Florentine, exactly. No, Disneyland is crazy. Think about it. You've got like what, 45 or so attractions in that park. I know a lot of them are down right now, and will be down a little bit later as we'll get into the show. I'm sure we'll talk a little bit about that, but it just tells you the decline that park has seen, because, well, we were just talking about entertainment, right? And Dollywood, top of the list. Think about the entertainment offerings at Disneyland proper. Now, they really have receded in recent years to a grave extent. I think that's really hurt its position on this chart, even though it has had a couple of attractions like Star Wars Galaxy's Edge in the last 5 years and Mickey Minnie's Runaway Railway. Not enough to start here.
Yeah, that is nuts, and that's a very good point to bring up. That,
especially when you mentioned number 8.
Yeah, and I gotta laugh at this Starship, and I'm laughing because I totally get where you're coming from. Starship 824 says this list is weird. Why is Fun Spot America on there? I think it's on there. How would I put this? The Fun Spot is like the Six Flags of Orlando theme parks. It's cheap to go. There's advertisement all over the place to go to Fun Spot America. I've been near Fun Spot America because I went to Old Town Kissimmee. So you kind of get a two for one. You have Old Town Kissimmee, which is a nice touristy kind of like area to do stuff. Has a real cool anime shop in there. Actually, people don't know, but they do. And then there's the Fun Spot, which is right there. And it's the Fun Spot is like Walt Disney World used to be back in the day. You get tickets. You go on the attractions that you want to, and it's a very economical. It's an economical choice, but I would say a half a step above, the carnival that rolls into town. That's pretty much what the Fun Spot is like, but they've got better go-karts than Walt Disney World.
Yeah, that's true. They have good go-kart tracks out there. We have tons. We have so much go-karting here in Orlando. It's wow.
Yeah, we got Andretti. Mario Andretti has one too on Universal Boulevard, which is it's going to blow up. What's epic?
First place my son drove a go-kart the other day. Yeah, it was very cool.
Andretti. I was like, Mario Andretti as a go-kart. Wow. Okay. I'm like, why not? I thought that was pretty freaking cool. I'm like, yeah, okay. Everybody's on here. I would have Dollywood on my list, but I don't much like country music. I'm not a country music fan either, but Dolly Parton is such an American institution, and her rendition of "Go Tell It on the Mountain," if it doesn't move you, you have no soul. That's all. That's all I'm gonna say.
There's still a lot of people that don't know that she wrote for not for Whitney Houston, but she wrote "I Will Always Love You."
Yes.
So
yes, Dolly is an amazing songwriter, and I love her personal story. And you are absolutely right. Busch Gardens. I don't know why Busch Gardens is that far down there. But let's see. Barry on says Santa's Village made number 9. I live in New England and never went there. I'd never even heard of that. Never heard of Santa's Village at all. I'm like, what the heck is that? Never heard of it. But Busch Gardens, I just haven't had a chance to go. That's it. But I have good, very, very fond memories of Busch Gardens in Tampa. Free beer. That's what they ripped off with the Simpsons with Duff Gardens, where the 3-eyed fish that swim in the yes. Yes, that is
I gotcha.
totally off of Busch Gardens. Thank you, Alan Irons, for the $2 super chat. I appreciate that. Says Lorena, what happened at Epcot? Oh, is this from the last stream? Oh, okay. So the last stream that I did from Epcot, we saw the luminous fireworks and everything, but we went over to where the Beyonce pavilion is, the Beyonce stage, and I guess Disney now considers Zumba class an entertainment offering, because that is basically what you got the cover band up there. Now, the only ding I have against the cover band is that they did not have a live conga player. I'm sorry, you should have had that. Don't fake that. But they literally had someone, and I know because I used to teach it. Someone basically teaching a Zumba class to get people to dance, and I'm like, you pay $200 a head pretty much to get to Epcot, and this is what you get. You get that, and you get the airport terminal space
Oh God,
that's
that's
over
awful.
there. It was so freaking awful. I didn't know where I was, but it did not feel like Epcot.
They need to rename it because it's an insult to the name Communicore to call it Communicore.
What would you call it? I mean, just
I would call it
convention space?
cafeteria Epcot. Cafe Epcot. I don't know.
Cafeteria Epcot.
Call
I
it
mean-
the Festival Everyday Pavilion. That's what they need to
Oh.
call it.
I said if they want to theme it really properly, they need to offer 1980s square pizza school lunches there. That's what it looks like it should be serving. The government cheese and the government pizza. It's awful.
It's terrible. It really is bad.
I gotta laugh. Surly
Bash,
only
when you
looks
come
out
out here,
for
you
one
see it with your own eyes, you're going to be like, what? It's you know how people will often say, oh no, guys, you can't just see this on video. You got to see it for yourself. It's much better. It's much worse. When you see it in person, it's literally worse. I can't, it's hard to describe. Lorena can talk about it.
If y'all would have seen my face, and I'm glad I didn't have the camera on my face because I looked like, what the heck is this? Like, are you really teaching a Zumba class? And it's hot. There's no shade, and it's people just like, okay, I guess we're supposed to have fun. And I think it's not a coincidence that they've got like an alcohol stand. They call it a festival, I think festival treats or something, but all of it over there is alcohol, probably to have to deal with whatever the heck it is that they have going on there. It's oh gosh, it's a mess. We lost Communicore East, Communicore West, Mouse Gear, and that flex space that they would have where you could meet the characters, but it was also a nice space to kind of like catch, get air conditioning, but it was still themed, really well. Now that looks like that looks freaking awful.
And don't forget the Fountain of Nations.
Oh my gosh. They could put a fountain, some type of water feature there, and because all they have is a giant planter where the Fountain of Nations used to be. It's not the center planter where they had Figment, the Figmentopia area, but the one that's a little bit behind it as you're walking towards World Showcase. That planter is big and empty, and it could be a fountain. There's no reason not to put a fountain there.
Well, if you remember the original D23 presentation, this was D23 Expo 2019, a fountain is specifically mentioned by Bob Chapek while on stage. We were supposed to get one, and even that was cut.
The budget cuts to that area, you walk in and it looks like you should just call it, hey, look, it's Budget Cut Park.
Exactly.
Yes, Epcot. I don't even want to embarrass community colleges because there's a local community college and their gardens look pristine. I mean, it looks so darn bad.
They did, however, I will say this, they did class the whole area up with a merry-go-round pole dancing show. So there's that.
Yeah. Ooh.
Oh my God.
That's like somebody thought that somebody actually greenlit that nonsense. Oh Lord, I won't even go into that. But Space Day, thank you so much for the two Canadians. One Toonie and two Loonies Canadian. Thank you. 2025 Epic Universe in first place and Disney's Magic Kingdom in sixth. Probably lower than six. Let me put it this way. If the Fun Spot gets rated higher than Magic Kingdom, we laugh now. But it's to the point where, I mean, even Six Flags is like, nah, we wouldn't fucking do that. But so excited about Epic Universe, and we got some news about Epic Universe as
Yes, we
well.
do.
Alan's another $2. Oh, thank you, my dear. Says no, there was an emergency. Look it up. An evacuation. There was an evacuation at Epcot. Really, Thursday? Did you guys hear anything about that?
I have seen so many notifications on my groups that I'm in, as far as pass holders and all that stuff, about evacs that I can't tell one from the other. Honestly, lately there have been evacs from literally everything. There's evacs from the monorail. There's evacs from the one in Animal Kingdom that I showed you yesterday, the Pandora. Evacs,
And
obviously,
that's
from
rare.
Tiana's. Evacs from
Yeah.
Tron. I mean, so there might have been an evac from Remy's or something. I think there was an evac
Cosmic
from
Rewind, I believe it, because
okay.
they really had those. Wow, that is I
It's just
didn't
been bad lately.
I didn't do anything. I went on Spaceship Earth. I didn't get evac from Spaceship Earth. Although I'm trying to remember what part of it was, but let's just call it was just bad show. I don't remember it being that dark for that long in one part of it. So thank you, Alan, for that. And Go and Shogi, thank you for the $4.99 super chat. Thank you so much. That's gonna go in my Joffrey's Coffee cold brew fund. Joffrey's Coffee is so good. So good. If you're over at the, in Walt Disney World, skip the Starbucks. Go Joffrey's, man.
I can tell you way too much about Cafe Feminino, which is Joffrey's. I know so much about it, but I don't want to go into it. It's good stuff though.
Yeah, I love it, man. They're so creative with their offerings, especially during the festivals that Epcot will have going on. Literally every Joffrey's cart will have some kind of specialized drink that you can only get at that particular cart. My favorite, key lime cold brew. Whew. And there's over 50 of you guys watching. Thank you so very much. Welcome to the War Room Podcast, Theme Park War Room Podcast. Hit that like button. Let people know we're here and drop your questions for our amazing panel down there in the chat. Go and Shogi says, in a way, Epcot is still teaching us what not to do with your theme park and what happens when imagination is gate kept. What do you gentlemen say about that comment?
I agree. I mean, it's still teaching us valuable lessons about the future. And unfortunately not as optimistic as it had been in years past. But man, I mean, they really have done a number on that park, and in the worst way possible. And again, I mean, Epcot has been, thrown to the curb more than once. I think the original plans for Project Gemini date back, I want to say 2 decades. Wow. So this was in the works for quite some time, and they were attempting to overcome some of the issues, some of the complaints that guests in the 90s were having with that park. And it's like, okay, let's go ahead and let's try to give it the old college try. With Chapek era, that steps in, and some of those plans get cut back. But it's okay, let's go ahead, move forward, and they finally undertake the process of rejuvenating that park. And well, in the middle of all of that, you had the COVID shutdowns and cutbacks and so forth. And so all these things got scaled back mid-construction, which was devastating. Park operators were like, we need our park back. This Walcott can't continue. The entrance of our park is completely under construction. So they really rushed to finish it. And you're seeing the results, obviously. Also, too, Harmonious, that was a huge disaster for the economics of that theme park because, well, people would come from all over the resort to dine at Epcot to watch Illuminations. And when Harmonious took over, well, it caused operational issues and hurdles, at the back of that park in the day because it was, a ghastly site and you had to do all your maintenance basically in front of guests. It's just a horrendous situation. But then the Harmonious wasn't nearly as good as Illuminations was, which really hurt the businesses along World Showcase Lagoon, particularly those that offer dining for lagoon viewing. So, man, it's just been one nightmare after another. Harmonious, what? It wasn't even a year until they announced its replacement at the next C23 Expo in 2022.
The worst part about Harmonious is that they didn't allow guests to actually travel through the Stargate to the other dimension. I'm like, hey, let guests go through the Stargate, enter a different dimension for a little while. That would be cool.
That show was so bad. I mean, the evening it premiered, Chapek was actually there. He was, they blocked off, the boat dock that'll take you over to Morocco. So they had him over there. That show was so bad, I felt like throwing tomatoes at him because it was just awful. And I will never forget after that show, because people were like, what is it? Are we supposed to go? Are we not supposed to go? And then as soon as we're leaving the park, the LED lights that they put on Spaceship Earth turn on. And then they had the music. And then, it had like all the patterns and everything. People were like, man, that was better than the fireworks show. That is literally what people said.
Definitely better.
And it was so much better. I'm like, man, who would have thought that? Let me tell you.
The Starship 824 with the Harmonious was a maintenance nightmare. Yes, maintenance for that show was supposed to take place backstage in a dry dock. Those barges were never made to be moored there all day. That's why the last minute was like, fountains. Yeah, that didn't work out at all. But it was always supposed to be transported back and forth, and because of the technicians and so forth that would be involved to handle that process, that all was cut. So they literally just stuck it out there in the lagoon and destroyed the sightlines for that couple of years. So that was
it was bad, so bad.
Well, you guys have some amazing questions. We're gonna keep going here. Let's see. We have one from Teresa from Ms. Martin Uses, and I'm actually going to pop the story up here with relation to Walt Disney World. I'll put that up there while we do this question. What is your favorite resort hotels and favorite rooms? Who wants to start? I usually, I will put it this way. Do you want to know overall, or do you want to know by price point?
That's a good, distinguishing factor there.
I can tell you of my personal experiences just over the last several years. The favorite one that we stayed at Disney specifically, was the Wilderness Lodge. And we were able to stay in a 1-bedroom at Copper Creek, overlooking the pool on the 6th floor for my wife's 50th birthday. It was just an amazing experience, and it had a view of the fireworks over the hotel. We had great view of the light show that comes along, the 50-year-old light show that comes along the water at night. And I've stayed in, this is like out of Beach Club and Coronado Springs and several others. Wilderness Lodge was definitely the best, but I also like a very more obscure off-site Disney hotel that has been my absolute favorite of all of them, and that's Disney's Vero Beach Resort.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, so I have never stayed on properly up until last year when I stayed at the Polynesian. That was very, very cool. And so if I had a favorite, well, I guess that would be it right now, because I haven't really stayed at any of the others. I will say I did resort hop, took a couple days to resort hop a lot and just kind of see what was out there. Man, oh man, Animal Kingdom Lodge. That is really something right there. I understand that transportation wise, when compared to some of the other famous deluxe resort hotels, that can be an issue a little bit. You don't necessarily benefit from something like the Skyliner or the monorail or any of those other auxiliary transportation options. But just incredible. I mean, the design of it, the architectural details, the history, the I don't know, the texture, the feel of it, just unlike anything that Disney has ever done before or since. Closest to probably Animal Kingdom itself, but in some ways maybe surpasses it. I don't know. But in terms of resort hotels, it's interesting. So my folks have a timeshare, and so that's kind of my extent when it comes to resort hotels and staying at different properties. Marriott, I think, is the best in that regard. It's just a cut above a lot of the other hotel proprietors out there, in my honest opinion. So, like when we stay in California, and the Marriott Newport Coast Villas, by the way, is just fantastic. Actually sits on a plot of land that Disney used to own and occupy. This was part of their efforts to create a number of DVC locations throughout the country.
Oh, yeah.
And unfortunately, it never got farther than South Carolina and Alani, really. And we've seen Alani and how successful or unsuccessful that has been. Same with South Carolina. So they obviously did not go forward with that endeavor. But they sold that land to Marriott, and Marriott basically built what Disney was kind of gonna do with that property, kind of the old Spanish Mission style. Just a beautiful property overlooking the California coastline right there. Ooh, man, that's got to be tops right there. But yeah, for like resort hotels in Florida, I think we stayed at let's see, it was like Marriott Harbor. I can't remember. I'll look it up. But that was an excellent stay as well.
Well, I'll run it down. So in California, the only Disney hotel that I stayed at was a Grand Californian, and I did enjoy my stay there. I've actually stayed there twice. Love the fact that you have that entrance into California adventure. So it was extremely pricey. Let's put that, probably even pricier now, but I did enjoy my stay. It was pretty much like the Wilderness Lodge in a way at in the Magic Kingdom Resort area at Walt Disney World. So let's see, we'll say for Universal, my favorite's always going to be Cabana Bay. It is, we'll say, like a value plus resort. I love the 60s, like the 50s/60s theming. There's a Starbucks that's inside there. They've got old school cars that are outside. It looks like one of those classic motor inns that they have going on. It kind of looks like you're in Vegas. They've got like a lazy river there. They've got a huge food court there that is very, very well priced. They've got a bowling alley in that sucker and a private entrance into Volcano Bay. So while I love the Royal Pacific Hotel over there, it's more expensive. It's, their premier resort. Cabana Bay is my favorite. Cabana Bay, I would say, is like the French Quarter if you're looking for something equivalent at Walt Disney World. Okay. French Quarter I do like, but I'm kind of one of those where I kind of feel like I'm spending more money than I need to at the moderates. So if you're talking about the value resorts, definitely Pop Century or Art of Animation. You got access to 2 resorts instead of 1. You've got Skyliner transportation as well. And it's still pricey for value, but it's easy to get your money's worth there. Oh, and if you've got a pass holder, you can get a discount at the food court. Okay. You can, they don't tell you that. They don't. The only reason I knew was because when I checked out, they asked me.
Well, that's good to know.
Yeah.
I have a question about Cabana Bay, Lorena. Can you get on the boat, the ferry shuttle at Cabana Bay, or to the Universal parks?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, and I think
Really?
I probably mainly waited the longest, maybe like 10 minutes. The middle of the day, it's going to take longer because most people are at the parks. But I have no complaint about the bus service. So yeah, it
Oh,
goes to the parks. Also, Cabana Bay, I think all the values do this year. They've got theming for Halloween Horror Nights as
oh,
as well.
that's cool.
That's there. So let's see. Yes, WED Imagineer 13. Yes, it is. It is. They even in the food court. Okay, you know how I know I spend a lot of time on this. You know how at the Sci-Fi Dine-In theater at Hollywood Studios, how they run like all of the 50s, 60s commercials. They do the same thing over in Cabana Bay in the food court. And it's yes, they have two big, huge screens and they run like a continuous loop of that. It is so cool. It's like a step back in time. And I absolutely like it. Let's see. And as for deluxe, it's a tie. I love the Animal Kingdom Lodge. It's out there, but trust me, when you stay there, there's nothing else that's like it with the animals and the
Yeah.
savannas, and especially if you get a savannah room, it's like nowhere else. The Polynesian, expensive as I don't know what, but as a kid, that was my idea of just the epitome of a visit. So there's
Same.
a lot of lot of options that are there. Ray, I'm still gonna say Cabana Bay. I'm still gonna say Cabana Bay. There are two big ones, two big values that they also have, which is the surf side and the dock side. They're both good. They were slightly lower priced than Cabana Bay, but when it comes to theming and amenities, you can't beat Cabana Bay, which is why Cabana Bay gets booked really fast. It gets booked up very, very, very fast. So you if you want to stay there, you're gonna want to go. Uh Before we get to the next question, yes, they are making over M Mouse Mercantile in the Grand Floridian. I like green. There are forest green highlights, especially in the marble on the floor at the Grand Floridian. It kind of reminds me of the beach club with how bright green it is. And I'm kind of on the fence about this look. I don't hate it. I don't love it, but considering what it used to look like, it's kind of jarring. Have you gentlemen been to M Mouse Mercantile ever?
Is that the one upstairs?
Yes.
Like on the way to the monorail? Yeah. No, yeah.
Yes.
I bought many things in there. I haven't seen it since they did this. So I'll have to go over there and check it out. But I know they've got the two shops because you have this one on the top level. Then when you go downstairs and you're walking towards the restaurants, you have the shop that has all the DVC and sundries and those types of things in it as well. So that's why I was
Yeah,
just wondering which one it was.
I did see Mouse Mercantile when resort hopping last year, and from what I remember, it was well, it I'm looking at this minty makeover, as Blog Mickey has eloquently put right here, Mike. It seems dark to me. I remember Mouse Mercantile being airy and being light and being inviting and all that. I'm
Yes.
not sure about this.
Yeah, I'm kind of I'm on the fence about it. I'll probably check it out in person, but I was kind of like, I don't know what to think about it, and I don't know if this was even needed. Yeah, kind of like a key lime mint. And when I look at it, I'm thinking about the rest of the hotel because when before this makeover, the theming was seamless with regards to the color palette and everything else, so that when you stepped into the shop, it just looked natural. When I step into this, it's like this is something that I would expect at Caribbean Beach.
Yeah, it has that, or even Beach Club. It sort of has that sort of Beach Club type of look
Yeah,
to it more than Grand Floridian, at least from this photograph. But this is one I'd have to see in person. I liked. I don't know if they actually did a makeover at the Basin shop across the way. But the last time I was in
yeah,
Basin, it looked nice. So,
yeah.
but
Basin, it's still got the predominantly mostly white. It blends in like it should with the rest of the rest of the Grand Floridian, excuse me.
they still haven't
Like you
opened
did.
the hair shop over there, or I think they had a Bibbidi Bobbidi boutique in there before too, and they haven't
They
opened that either.
did. They did, and then they closed it down.
The
So
worst part
let's
of Grand Floridian is they got rid of the band, which was the best thing about it.
y'all gonna give me PTSD when I start talking about it.
Oh, why
I
would
mean,
you?
how cool was it? You walk in, especially in the evening, and you hear like the live band that was playing, especially when they would play the theme from the Muppet Show.
Wow, it was so
That just
good.
that just fit that just fit absolutely perfectly when it was there. Heather Brainerd has a very good question here. What are the best snacks in the Disney parks for real? Have been led astray by pixie dusters in the past. Recommendations.
Not the
Um,
bratwurst. That was the worst thing I ever ate the other day. God, it was awful.
can't speak for Walt Disney World. I will say, like, y'all can eat kind of popcorn buckets, when you only pay like $1 to fill them up. That was pretty cool. That was awesome. That's something you don't get out here in California. That's for sure. Everything is so expensive. Anyway,
Wait, you don't get
but
free refills on or not
nope,
refills on popcorn buckets?
nope, nope,
What?
nope,
Oh
nope,
God,
nope. Do
I didn't
not
know
have
that.
that out in Anaheim. That's a Florida signature, actually, because I don't even think Universal does that here either. Just goes to show you.
I'm staying here.
But I know, right? So for value, not bad, but for taste, at least in California, two things. One, the the churros out in Disneyland are for real, not like those Florida churros. They are
True.
absolutely for real.
Dash is
Uh,
right.
oh yeah, yep.
Yep.
The Knott's Berry Farm actually has fresh churros made if you can catch them. Those are pretty good as well. And then I would say my one of the greatest snacks of all time, Ralph Brennan's Jazz Kitchen. We were talking about this actually. We were talking about beignets, right? Ralph Brennan's Kitchen Express, right next door in downtown Disney, over here in the Disneyland Resort. You gotta go there, and you gotta get what is it? Just standard beignets. Get like 8 of them, because trust me, you're gonna want all of them, or 6. They are so good, unbelievable. They're always made fresh. They are amazing. I think my favorite in park snack has got to be a butterbeer frozen. Oh God, yeah, gotta do it.
Woo. You so have to. To add to what Bash was saying, Walt Disney World, the churros pretty much suck. Except if you go to Disney Springs and you go to the Sunshine Churros cart, that's where you want to go. They have the custom churros. Some of the flavors rotate, but they are absolutely the best. They're soft, they're like chewy. The dipping sauce is great, but the churros inside the Disney parts, they suck. I mean, I had the one for Star Wars. What was it? Star Wars Day for May the 4th. Oh my gosh, it was so dry. You could like snap it in
The
half.
exception to the churro rule at Disney World are the little mini churro bites that you can get at Nomad Lounge. Those are, and it's not like a regular like the park churro,
Ah,
but it's
uh-huh.
those soft. I believe, at least in the past, they were gluten free. I don't know how they made them, but they come with a warm chocolate dipping sauce, and they're not anything. They're a much more rich, soft, filling dessert that's so much better than like the regular park churros. All of the regular, like the long park churros, are awful at Disney. Those things are like, it's just like just buy a stick of cardboard and try to eat it.
They're the freaking worst. Best snacks. Well, Vash already mentioned the frozen butterbeer at Universal. If you can't get the frozen butterbeer, get the butterbeer ice cream. That's
Oh,
like the step, yeah, the step down. But definitely frozen butterbeer. It's so good that I will warn you, you will get the worst brain freeze you have ever had in your life. But it's worth the risk. It's worth the risk. Just risk it and go and get that. At the Disney parks, churro popcorn. It comes in a little resealable bag. For some reason, I guess people have gotten onto it and they don't have as much of it stocked, but just look for it or ask a cast member. Churro popcorn is $7. It's so good. It tastes like it. Yeah, it does. It just tastes like churro, literally churro and popcorn form. So there's that. And of course, there's also the Dole Whip. Dole Whip's freaking awesome in every uh incarnation. Um, as for any of the other snacks, honestly, no, that's pretty much all I go for because I
Yeah.
know they're consistently good. The churros suck. The cupcakes, honestly, you can get better ones at Publix unless the cupcakes come from either the Grand Floridian or the Animal Kingdom Lodge. There's something about the pastry chefs at those two resorts where their stuff is on point. I mean, it's oh my gosh, it's so good. So good, so good, so good. Let's
I
see.
have two favorite Dole Whips too. And they're both at the Magic Kingdom. One is the pineapple upside down cake with the Dole Whip on top of it, and the other
hmm.
one is called the I Lava You float. That is my go-to Dole Whip, and that's the one with it's in like
Oh,
a strawberry fresca is the soda, and it's like I think it's a strawberry vanilla Dole Whip mix, but on top of it, they top it with Pop Rocks, and and uh, and
Rock's
it's
always good.
yeah, so I love that you bite into it and then you can drink it and then you've got the explosion things in your mouth and it's just very different. That's usually at Sunshine Tree Terrace, I think. And then
Yeah, I
the
tried it
Dole Whip
once.
pineapple upside down cake is behind Aladdin. What's that place called? It's the Dole Whip place. It's the I don't know why I
Aloha
can't think of it.
Isle.
Oh, that's it. Aloha. Thank you. Thank
I
you.
know,
But
because people swarm around there like, gotta have the dough, we've gotta have the dough. Do mobile order. Because not for nothing, but I swear that seems to be one of the places where the cast members are kind of scatterbrained uh
yes.
over there. Just something that I happen to notice. Avarice Carmageddon's is AT&T hack and Snowflake link to Disney. And I did a video with Pro and I kind of did some IT tinfoil mini ears theorizing, but AT&T is one of Disney's technology partners. Number one,
Oh, that makes a lot of sense.
they're one of their technology partners. Snowflake is cloud software like Azure DevOps that is used by AT&T and is actually used by Disney. That is not a state secret. That is public knowledge. So, not too hard to make a leap of logic where that's going. Because
I I
if I
will
was a white
say
hat hacker, oh, I'm
so.
sorry, Bash. Go ahead.
I talked to Bear Place 28, and because obviously Bear Place 28 and Theme Park Casual, which are amazing friends of this channel, and
Mm-hmm.
hopefully we can get them on sometime soon. But they vlog in the parks regularly. I asked them, I was like, okay, best service, what are you going with? It's like AT&T. AT&T, really cuts through there. So I actually changed providers in order to make the switch and just get some dang service while I'm in Soarin' or any of the number of locations where I mean you go into the caverns in Indiana Jones Adventure, for example, out here in California. You have no service until you actually exit. Sometimes that is beneficial. Other times it's like, ooh, I got to stay in contact. So yeah, that makes a whole lot of sense, Lorena. That AT&T and Disney are kind of like this because really it's the only service that I can use at the park that's actually operable.
Yeah, that is 100% true because I have AT&T. So it's interesting around the areas. It's like I had a hard time getting service. Soon as I'm on Disney property, boom, everything works. I'm like, okay. So yeah, not too far fetched to think something going on. Something going on there. Something going on. Jim Taylor, hello, says, I have a ticket tonight for the Country Bears preview at Magic Kingdom. Have you seen it yet? I've only seen video posted online, so I haven't seen it yet at all. Have you guys seen any of the video?
I have seen the video. I have many thoughts about the Country Bear Jamboree or musical jamboree, I believe. Really, guys, you only need one.
Karaoke.
You don't need musical. You don't need jamboree. You can cut one of them out there. But c'est la vie. I like to call it the Country Bear Jamboree PhilharMagic or Harmonious Edition. You know, remember back in the day they used to have special editions, right? The Vacation Hoedown and the Holiday Edition. Well, this is like the PhilharMagic Edition, in which the Bears now sing all Disney tunes. I knew that for quite some time, but seeing the execution of it, maybe it worked out better in somebody's head than it did in execution, because there are some songs that work really well. Like I would say, Try Everything from Zootopia, as sung by Trixie, and the I was going to say the Sunbonnets, but they don't wear bonnets anymore, so I don't know what they call them anymore. Anyway, the three gals down there, pretty good, right? That's not too bad. How they incorporate Max, Buff, and Melvin into the show, pretty good. But it's so sterile, it's so clean, it's so, I don't know. It just doesn't have the feel of the Country Bears anymore. This kind of rough and wild kind of group that Henry was just trying to keep together, and everybody would cut in with their songs. It's just a little bit too polished of performances, and the edge, the spice that it used to have is no longer there. So a little bit disappointing to me.
Yeah, it's not like it was when a Goofy movie ripped on it like this.
This is pathetic.
Join in, folks. It's yodeling time. Here at Lester's.
Elephant green screen effect.
It's no longer Lester's.
That's funny.
I really wish that they would have just gone back and picked out a couple of country songs that people that probably weren't as famous and kind of put those into the rotation. But someone tried to say that Big Al singing Remember Me was the new Blood on the Saddle.
Oh, don't like it.
I'm like, what? No, I don't. No. Even before Big Al would sing and he did that first awfully tuned note, people started laughing because they knew what was it was coming. And I don't. There's too much. You know what? I like that. Country Bears under new management.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
I mean, I will say this. The good thing about this is it's so much easier for them to change depending on the feedback that they get. The animatronics are working. As far as I know, the show hasn't gone down yet. And if these animatronics might be more sophisticated, easier to program, and it, we'll see what the feedback is. I haven't seen it yet. I think maybe the kids will like it more because they'll have the film familiarity with the songs or whatever. Obviously, it's the place that people get out of the heat and into the air conditioning at, and they do that. The last iteration of the show that I saw was not my favorite iteration of the show, so I was kind of anxious for some type of a change. So I'm looking forward to seeing it for myself, to give it a review myself. Maybe it'll somehow refresh what the Bears has been. I am glad more than anything that they did not get rid of Country Bears, because that was the chatter prior to all of this happening, that they were going to go away completely. So thank God they kept them. And I'm so grateful that at least with the show, they'll get feedback and they can make changes. They have brand new animatronics that they can do new iterations of the show too. But I will tell you this: if they ever start doing the songs, if I hear Special Spice in that show ever, somebody's got to get fired. They do not bring those songs into the show ever.
Do not at flipping all. Yeah, I'm going to see it. I'm not live streaming. I'm logging it. Going to go check it out on the 17th. Like Ron said, I'm glad they didn't completely get rid of it. That show is such a favorite for people, and no screens whatsoever, and every show literally packed and people just enjoying it. Again, that's why that scene in A Goofy Movie is so freaking funny. Because it's such a cheesy show. It's like everybody just, they pretty much they just love it.
The wall animatronics, the three heads on the wall.
Oh yeah, that looks like the Buffalo
Max
Wild
Buff
Wings.
Melvin.
This was really, really funny. I did a show in Branson, Missouri, where we put a scene in the show that had three very similar heads on it, but they were not audio animatronic. And I had to go behind the moose and manipulate it during that show. And every time I was doing it, I was like, how the heck are we getting away with ripping off Disney and the Country Bears? I was like, I'm not in charge of that. I just manipulate the moose. But it was just funny that we had that. I think the song was Big Rock Candy Mountain. So. Oh, it was funny.
Some of the banter between Max Buff and Melvin and the Bears and between each other and stuff like that, it was so good. Mama don't whoop little Buford, like you said, Lorena, put on the saddle. All kinds of great stuff from that show, and it's just I don't know. You go into this new one, and it's like it doesn't have any of that, and I don't know. It's just. Like I said, a little bit too clean, a little bit too sterile, a little bit too safe.
Yeah, we've got instead of the sun bonnets reminiscent of the big bonnets that you would wear in Florida, now they've got pink costumes that make them look like the Dallas Cowboy cheerleaders. Yes, they do. That is, you cannot tell me that's not what they were going for.
That's funny. That is so funny.
Ray Gould says, I've heard people on similar shows say Disney doesn't care about their annual pass holders. Can you go into more detail about why that is as someone unfamiliar with them? Well, thank you, Ray, for your question. What do you guys think?
So Disney doesn't care about their annual pass holders nearly as much as they care about like international or domestic tourists that buy day tickets, because if you look at your per cap spending, right, or how much a guest spends in a day, your tourists, especially international, are going to be spending far more money per day than an annual pass holder. Now, I'm not saying annual pass holders don't spend money. They do, and especially cumulatively over the entire year of their annual pass, they'll be spending quite a bit. I'm not saying that they're not spending it at all. But if you have a severely supply limited business that is the Disney parks or the theme park operation, right? You can only have so many people in your theme park per day. I think for Magic Kingdom or something like that, it's got to be like It's what,
I think it's
80,000 tops
Yeah,
or something?
75, 80,000, right? Yeah.
Yeah. You're probably going to be averaging anywhere between 55 to 65,000 nowadays with the reservation systems and everything like that. They want to keep those low, but on a packed day, you can absolutely get up to the kind of the 80s range for sure. So if you can only let in that amount of guests per day, well then just from a monetary standpoint, you're going, well, okay, I'm going to prefer tourists. I'm going to prefer international visitors because they're going to be spending more money if, I can have 60,000 guests of one sector or another. And that's why annual pass holders have reservations that they do. And that's why they've maintained them for that clientele. It's to control that population, their access to the park, and to, make way for who Disney really wants. And that is, those domestic tourists or like those international tourists, which have dropped off quite severely to the park's detriment in recent years, which is why Disney's felt the need to augment the revenue that would have come in from those tourists with others, right? That's why everything's being separated out. It's why you're feeling nickel and dime to death. It's because they're trying to make up for that lost revenue stream in international visitation. But put it simply, it's just from a monetary standpoint, they just spend more dollars per day. That's it.
Ron?
I mean, you and I are both annual pass holders. We know, nobody in the parks when you're there knows you're an annual pass holder, so you're going to get treated the same by cast members, which is fine. But I would say that the perks, it's just that Disney, it's basically everything you said, Vash. I mean, it's when you're looking at, okay, I can bring somebody from the UK or Europe or Brazil in, and they will spend 2 weeks at a deluxe resort, and they'll spend a lot of money on the resorts, and they'll, it's one of those things where it's just very, very simple minded. It's easier to look over the annual pass holders. As a matter of fact, am I correct in thinking that they didn't bring back the annual pass right away after COVID?
That is correct. They didn't do sales because when I moved down here, I moved down here in the tail end of COVID. So they said that passes were going to eventually go back on sale, and they did. I think about 2 months after I moved here, and the phone lines were jammed. People going to, the parks to just buy the passes. But they also stopped selling certain levels of passes. And if you're from out of state, you could only get one type of pass. And that wasn't always the case, because before I moved down here, a lot of people who lived in the Northeast, especially some friends of mine, they would get an annual pass. They would go like about twice a year because it was actually beneficial and they got the perks to do so. But when Disney said, okay, if you want an annual pass, if you're from out of state, you got to pay for the one that's $1,200, that started to cause a lot of backlash as well, because now the other levels, they're only available to Florida residents. But if you're out of state, you got to pay for the top tier one.
And I think the second tier down from that might also be available to DVC if they're out of state, but none of the lower tiers are. The Pixie Pass that I have is definitely only available if you're in state, and has happened to be a great value for somebody like me who I don't care to go to the parks at the busy times or the weekends or the holidays. I prefer to stay away from the parks during those times. So fortunately, they do offer that. Again, it's kind of the equivalent they used to offer. This was kind of the weirdest thing, but they used to have an after 4 p.m. only Epcot pass.
Yes, they did.
It was a very strange thing that they had pre-COVID, but if you wanted the absolute cheapest pass that you could get and just go to Epcot, maybe it was just because people like to have that for the festivals, you could buy that. And it was pretty inexpensive. But yeah, everything there now. I think about what Vash said. I mean, think about the money that they're getting from your average out-of-town guest. If you're paying for a resort and you drive in, you're spending over $500 a night for the resort. You're paying $175 per person in your party for the day. Now, fortunately, if you're staying at a resort, you get the parking free. If you weren't, you'd pay $35 per day or more to park if you park premium. And then on top of that $175 per day per ticket for each individual in your party, you're also paying typically about $30 for the Genie Plus, or what's going to be morphing into the Lightning Lane Multipass, and maybe an extra $25 for an individual Lightning Lane. You could literally be paying upwards of $225 to $30 per person per day for the park. If you've got a party of 4 people, that's almost $1,000 just to get in your parks before you buy food and the hotel and everything else. I mean, that is what, if Disney can get the money, they're going to take it. That's who they want to cater to.
That's it.
That's true. That's very true. And yes, this is what I tell people. The reservation system is not about improving the guest experience. It is not about bringing you the best product. It is all about mining your data. Go look up what snowflake is. Not the pejorative use of the word snowflake, but go and look up the snowflake software. Go look that up, because that's precisely what it is for. But Disney will not say the quiet part. They won't say the quiet part out loud. Although I will say at Universal, they love you as a pass holder. I will say that they like their out of state and out of country money. But as a pass holder, that's the only place that I've been. I mean, Disney started to change a little bit, but every time I go to Universal, thank you for being a pass holder. Thank you for being a pass holder. Pass holder nights. They had one last year that was swamped, and I think this year they're going to have 2 nights where annual pass holders get Islands of Adventure Park all to themselves from, I think, like 6 or 7 p.m. until like midnight. And it's just like a party, all the attractions you can get on. Disney has never done that, quote unquote, for free for their pass holders, but Universal has.
And SeaWorld also does monthly perks for pass holders, free gifts, you get a free Christmas ornament for every pass holder in your family. You get lots and lots of perks. I've been a SeaWorld pass holder, and I've grandfathered into a particular price. So once you're past, like if you do it for a year, you're grandfathered into that price. So I've kept that price between SeaWorld and Aquatica for the last decade and a half or so. So I haven't gone up in price. I'm still, get that. They give you 2 free tickets per pass that you have in your family to bring in guests with you for free during the year, so you don't have to pay for those. There's a ton of perks with Universal and SeaWorld passes you will never get with a Disney pass.
This is true. No, Ray, it was an amazing question. So thank you. I appreciate that. That's why we bring all questions here to talk about, because some people just genuinely are curious, about that. With Universal, I didn't look into the annual pass until I saw, you can get one of those at any level from out of state, and you can also pay on a payment plan from out of state. Yeah, I snapped one of those up for a trip, because trust me, those perks are worth it. Alan, thank you for the additional $2 super chat. I appreciate supporting my channel that way. Say, Disney, stop this mess, nostalgia, please. I guess that's with Tiana's Bayou Adventure and the Country Bears. Yeah. It's not cool. Although, and Bash, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think over at Tokyo Disneyland, aren't they like plussing up their version of Splash Mountain? There's some kind of event, I think, that they're having. Like,
it's
Max. I keep getting the two. Go ahead.
Oh,
Sorry.
Max Splash, yeah.
No, it's a get soaked max. It's where they actually get you drenched, and they have, I believe, signage outside saying, Now, if you ride this ride, it's not you may get wet. It's you will get wet. And I believe they put cannons, water cannons, at the base of the big drop there, in order to ensure that you are just completely soaked from head to toe when you're walking off of the ride. It's interesting because I think Tokyo's climate actually is very similar to Florida around this time of the year. Yeah, there you go. Get soaked max. And so
wanna go to
it
Tokyo.
get pretty hot. It's a way to cool off.
Konnichiwa.
This is like I want to say if you want an idea kind of like how this is probably going to work, if you're ever over at Universal and you go over to the Jurassic Park River Ride, go hang out in the splash zone. There is so much water. It's like the water sounds like it's roaring, and it is insane how much water gets in there. So I'm thinking it's probably going to be the same thing. Oh my gosh, this is freaking awesome. I got to get to Tokyo. That's all.
That's it. Yeah, that's it. We got to do that. Come on, pro. Do that Park Place trip to Tokyo. We'll all go.
All right, let's go.
So many people have been saying the same thing. They're like, yeah, I think I want to start saving up my money to go to Tokyo. Hello, Jim Taylor said, and thank you for that $9.99 super chat. So appreciative of that support of my channel that I go in the Joffrey's cold brew, Joffrey's cold brew fund. Headed to Epcot now. Awesome. Boarding group 8 for Guardians of the Galaxy. Okay. That should actually work. Guardians of the Galaxy doesn't really break down. Thank you for everything that you do. Well, you are very welcome. I love doing it. Love hearing you guys, and so glad the information is beneficial to you guys. So I run on the pixie dust from you guys. You know, that good inspirational pixie dust from the goodwill of all you folks. So thank you. Thank you so much for that. Okay, thank you. See, Ash has all the sound effects. I love it. Let's see. Guess no new news on the American Heartland theme park coming to Oklahoma. You guys know any more information about that? I heard there's former Imagineers working on it, but that's all I've heard.
I have a word out to them, and I'm trying to keep in communication with them because that's the one that I have a very, very personal connection to. Gene Bicknell, the guy who's financing it, and played my dad in a play that we were in together in Branson, Missouri. So I know Gene very, very well, and I've been reaching out to them to try and the last communication I had is that when they have more, they're going to send me some information, and we're going to try to get some of them maybe on the pro show or somebody to talk about that. But I haven't heard very much about it since last year, basically. You, Vash, anything?
Yeah, no, not since IAPA was when they announced that park. Not since that original announcement. So, hey, Ron, if you have any more information for any of us, please go ahead and share it whenever you can, because I would love to know all I can about that park.
What I can tell you is how the gentleman made all of his money. He was, for a long time, the largest franchise owner of Pizza Huts. He owned over 800 Pizza Hut franchises, made a lot of money that way. And then he sold that whole business and became a billionaire. He was worth $900 million when I knew him, and became a billionaire after he sold those franchises off.
Okay. All right. Well, I'm excited to hear about this park, see what they're going to do with this park. I'm curious to see what they're going to do infrastructure wise, because of where that park is going to be located. It's not near any major airports. I think the only major airport near them is, I think, the Tulsa airport, which is The Tulsa airport is kind of like let's say half the capacity of the Burbank airport, so to speak. It's not very big. It's not very busy, just because of where that's located. In the middle of the heartland. So hopefully, we'll find out some more information about that, because I'm very much hoping that that comes to fruition, because that's an area that's not really served theme park wise like that. So I can't wait to see how that goes. You guys are going to have to keep me posted. Let's see.
If I
We
know,
got
you'll
some
know.
more. Yeah. We've got feelers. Our eyes kind of like on that. So don't worry. We're not going to forget about that. BR Guy says, are any of you planning to cover any D23 announcements? Currently seething over them having the gall to use the name Horizons. Yes, last year I did a live stream of the Parks and Experiences presentation. So I'm going to be doing that again this year. Although it seems this year it's at like 7 p.m. Pacific, which seems really late.
That would be 10.
So I'm reading that wrong, because last year it was around 9 a.m. Pacific.
I think it's because of the Honda Center where they're hosting it this year. It might be something
that's
where,
right.
I don't know. Might be something where
Where-
people attend. They want people to attend during the expo in the day, and then have those big events at night over there at the Honda Center. So I think that might be why they're doing it that way. I will say about the expo, though, about the logistics of it, make sure you have a place to store your merchandise from the expo, because you can't bring it with you to the Honda Center. There are no bags, no nothing that they are letting in to that venue. So that and it's transportation is also going to be an issue, because Honda Center is I wouldn't say it's close to the convention center in Anaheim, not within walking distance, that is.
Mhm.
So that's something else to keep in mind.
I wonder why they had this over at the Honda Center instead of
Capacity.
having everything capacity. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
The Hall H, if you want to call it that, at the Anaheim Convention Center, it's big, but it's not nearly as big as the Honda Center. And these panels would get so popular that you'd unfortunately have to keep people out. You couldn't
Mhm.
host to that big of an audience, so they would they would have like ancillary rooms where you can watch the presentation, stuff like that, to
Mhm.
try to increase capacity that way. But everybody wants to be in the venue, so this is just a way of servicing more guests.
Okay.
I'll say this: I mean, this is going to be the first one with a $60 billion, approval. So I mean,
Yeah.
we'll see
Sure, right.
how that works. But
We'll see
Whatever.
if Josh pulls it off. We'll see.
The last several D23s have been letdowns, but even worse,
Yeah.
the ones that were good D23s, we've gotten let down on what the announcements were from those things to what they've become. I mean,
there it is.
When D23 first announced the Star Wars Land, Galaxy's Edge, and what it could have been, I was so excited. And throughout the years that it's been open, it's just been more and more diminished for me, because I go to Hollywood and I'm like, Star Wars weekends was so much better and more exciting than a Star Wars Land. And I'm in my head, I'm like, how can that be? I don't even when I walk in there, I'm like, it's so confusing to me. How was Star Wars weekends better than actually immersing myself in the Star Wars universe? And it's weird. It's very difficult to figure that out, because there was a magic that was there during Star Wars weekends that just isn't in Galaxy's Edge.
Funny you should mention that, because this is what they used to do at Star Wars weekends. Okay, this is the hyperspace hoopla. All right,
Hyperspace hoopla. If you've ever seen viral videos online, folks, of like Boba Fett or Darth Vader cutting a rug up there on a stage, this is usually where it was from. And
It was so good.
Yeah,
It was so good.
It's
Oh,
so weird
man.
how when they bought the franchise, they don't utilize the franchise in the way that they did when they didn't own it. It's
no,
so bizarre.
it's like when you're thinking about it from a guest perspective, you're like, it literally is so mind blowing, not in the good way, but in like, oh my gosh, it's so annoying. I loved going there. I mean, I remember yearning to be there for my first Star Wars weekend, and I missed it years and years in a
Mm-hmm.
row. When I got to go for the first time on a Star Wars weekend, I was like over the moon that I could be there. And you saw Ray Park, and you saw I saw Mark Hamill there. I won't
Mm-hmm.
say that, but I mean, you saw. I met Daniel Logan, who played little Boba Fett. I mean, it was just, it was so cool. They had all the celebrities out. It was better than the Star Wars thing that they do now. I forget the meet and greet, but yeah, it's back then. I mean, if you would have told myself back then that you're going to outgrow Star Wars and one day you will not like anything Star Wars puts out and you won't be a fan anymore, I would have said, "Nah, you're crazy. Star Wars is going to be great forever." And I'm like, how do you then buy the franchise and ruin it? How does that happen? I don't get it.
I don't know, but they managed to do it because man, Star Wars weekends, that was like imagine a Star Wars convention a month long.
Oh, so
It was
That
so
was
cool.
that was Star Wars weekends for all of May, and I could never get there. I got there, I think, a couple days after the last one, and me and a whole bunch of other people are swarming through Tatooine traders trying to get the last of the merch if they had any left that you could get. I mean, I have so much art. I have pins of like the Fab Five characters as like the Star Wars characters, like Yoda. Well, they had Stitch as Yoda, but also Stitch as the Emperor
Oh, and you
too.
can
So
meet
I have
Goofy Darth Vader was
yes,
there, but also during Star Wars weekends they brought in the 501st Legion, and I think maybe they volunteered for it. But like you
they
had
do.
so many Star Wars characters. You had Boba Fett, you had Grimorian guards, you had Darth Maul, you had. I mean, like they were
Aura
all there.
Singh. I've got
So many
Daisy as
more than
Aura
you ever
Singh.
see now, and what I think Disney has failed to understand is the entertainment and the interaction immersion is way better than just some decorative immersion. So,
Oh yeah.
Disney needs to focus on bringing back people, cast members, characters, entertainment,
Mhm.
where that entertainment is interactive with the crowd, because that was the magic of the Disney parks, whether it was on Main Street, whether it was Star Wars characters,
Mhm.
whether it was the Hollywood players, any of that stuff. That's all gone. And that stuff was a huge part of Disney magic that's just not there now.
Yep.
Well, speaking of interactive, and I love this comment, Kev L says it's time to retire Disney. It has strayed too far from its original idea. We should focus more on Universal and leave Disney to die in a corner. I think that's what people are doing with their money. So for Disney right now, it doesn't hurt enough yet. So folks need to take their money and move it to other places. Because speaking of moving their money and immersion, Halloween Horror Nights. Ron, I know I don't think you were. I think I was talking to Marvin. We had not bought tickets yet because we were waiting for the multi-night tickets to get released. Now, keep this in mind. Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween Party, which I love. I love going to that every year. I think I paid $120. That's for one night. Okay. With Halloween Horror Nights, I am getting 30 nights of Halloween Horror Nights, including the opening weekend and up until I think October 31st for $235.
Wow.
The multi-night passes went on sale And you could also get the multi-night passes along with the express pass. Well, those sold out fast.
I don't know.
And I know some folks were really upset that they couldn't get them, but in a way, actually, I'm glad that happens, because the express pass, if you don't have the express pass, it takes you much longer to get through the haunted houses at Halloween Horror Nights. You just have to plan differently and say go early, just like with the Disney parks. Go early. You go early, you can get in the houses and get done. Not as cool as the super late at night, but you can get through the popular ones. The express lanes, I would say the express line is, I want to say, like maybe 8 to 1 with your wait time. You're probably going to have about an eighth of the wait time as someone waiting to get in the standby line. And these lines for these houses can be anywhere between 2 to 3 hours long, depending on what time of night it is, because this event is without a doubt slam packed every year, and they have to manage capacity with this because the popularity is insane.
Yes.
You know about the time I was a scare actor, right? Did you? I don't know if Lorena knows that.
I don't
Wait,
think you
what?
told this story. No.
I was a scare actor in 2010 for the what was the name of the house? The Havoc House, Dogs of War. And that particular, we actually won Best House that year. Yeah, go us. Was very, very excited. All of us scare actors in the house, we were required to shave our heads. I was bald. All of the women were bald. They also shaved their heads. So go women that are willing
What?
to shave your heads for $7
Wow,
an hour.
that's
'Cause
committing.
That's all we got paid back then. It was just $7 an hour in 2010.
Mhm.
It was had such a fun time with it. Oh my gosh. And the people that I worked with were the best people I've ever worked with in my life were in that house, and the management was great. My experience as a Universal team member and cast member there and as a scare actor was fantastic. So my job, I was a chainsaw guy. I jumped out from and they call them boo holes when you're in the house. You're like your little dark hole we call it a boo hole that you jump out of and say boo, right? So I jumped out at people with a chainsaw. I was actually really muscular and strong, cut up and everything back then, because I was younger and could do that. I had such a blast with that, and just that's so my experience of Halloween Horror Nights is from the other side,
Mhm.
and of being a scare actor, and it was funny. I was my audition. Let me tell you, a lot of people don't know this, but everybody in Orlando wants to be a scare actor. So when they first open up their auditions, there was a line of literally over 1,000 people just on the day that I showed up to do my audition for this.
Mhm.
And so there was a short line also. And I asked somebody, what's the short line for? And they said, that's for stilt walkers. And so I went over. I've never walked on stilts a day in my life, but I got in that line and was ushered in and had my resume and everything. And I got weighed in, and I was fine for the weigh-in for the stilt walkers because you had to be under 190 pounds.
Yeah. Mhm.
And so went through everything, got the stilts on, stood up in the stilts, and
Mhm.
was and I'd never been in stilts in my entire life. So at that point in time, I said, it's been a few years since I've done this. I'm not sure if I'm super comfortable. And they took me directly from the stilt line. They're like, oh, that's okay. We'll just put you into one of the rooms where the people are. And I must have skipped 4 or 5 hours of waiting because I lied. I told them I was a stilt walker. And then the only thing they did for the audition is said, what's your favorite Halloween candy? Like literally there were 50 of us in a room, and we went around the room and answered that question. What's your favorite? And I said peanuts and candy corn, because when you put them together, they taste like a payday. And that was all I said, and I got the role. It's the funniest thing ever.
Oh,
So lying and having a weird favorite candy, that'll get you the role, kids. Not the
well,
best lesson to learn.
but yeah, Halloween Horror Nights, being a scare actor in Halloween Horror Nights, that is like something to have tops
Yes.
on your resume. I mean, even if you don't do the haunted houses, because I can't scream the haunted houses when I go, just going through the scare zones, the way that the scare actors interact with you, just everything. It is just so cool. So now it's like the place to be to meet your friends for Halloween. You're going to Halloween Horror? Yeah. Marvin's going to be there. I'm going to be there. A whole bunch of other people are going to be there. You can totally get your money's worth. Yes, Express is definitely worth it. It's super pricey, and it has to be, because with that Express pass, you get in again much quicker, and you can get through the haunted houses, but you can also repeat how many times that you go in line. So you're paying for the premium. It's not like with Genie Plus. We're like, yeah, we'll take your money and you can get in the line, but we're not really trying to get you through the line. But every year this event gets bigger and bigger and bigger, which is why they have the one all year round. They're putting out in Vegas, actually, because someone
That's
asked
right.
talk about Vegas. Yeah, we do, because they're bringing the Halloween Horror Nights year round experience to Vegas. So first of all, thank you, Cristiano Machado, for subscribing. Thank you so very much. Let's see here. We've got some more questions and comments here. Kindred Souls of Brooklyn and Sarasota. Wow, those are two diametrically opposed places. Awesome. So speaking of park work, I worked on Year of a Million Dreams. Oh my gosh, did you guys go to the park during the Year of a Million Dreams? At what?
2006.
I went to Disneyland during Year of a Million Dreams. Wow, that was quite the thing for sure.
It's funny that you mentioned this, Kindred Souls, because I want to say last week, because I'm going through a lot of my old Disney memorabilia, seeing what I need to, what I want to keep and what I need to cull from the stash, and actually found the pins that I have that I got during the Year of a Million Dreams. The Castle Suite, the stays in the Castle Suite. Magic moments like the Sword in the Stone. I know the Sword in the Stone is still there, but it's like these magic moments, they aren't as prevalent as they used to be. And I say that because they kind of used to happen pretty often. And yeah, people miss that Disney magic, that Disney difference that used to be there. Not that people were going to expect it, but it just kind of happened. Like for me, one of the experience is like I had like my nieces, my nephews, and all of them, and I forget which quick service place we were at to eat, and a cast member just came up and just said, "Oh, would you like me to take the trays away for you?" I'm like, "Y'all do that?" And sure enough, he just, because I guess he saw me there with like all the crazy kids going nuts, and they just, they cleared the whole table off for me. And that was, it seems like a little thing, but it was such a big deal, and such, such magic, as opposed, we'll say as interesting as going to 1900 Park Fair and the cast member saying, "You probably want this drink menu first." I'm like, yes, I do. I freaking love you for that. Totally love you for that.
Think of a
Yes,
promotion.
Universal is building something in Texas. Yes, they are. That's the kids part. Is that correct, guys?
Yep.
Yeah.
Universal Kids.
Yeah.
Very cool.
They're building that. So yeah, lots of eyes on that. California Dreamin' says, "Are you guys going to play Planet Coaster 2?" I plan to. It's on my my watch list in the Epic Games Store. Yeah, I wish listed that sucker. So yeah, I'm probably going to be playing that. Hopefully, it looks like a lot of fun.
Some say the best
Total.
theme park game of all time.
Yeah, I'm down. I'm so down for that. Ina, thank you so much for that $5 super chat. I don't see a comment attached to it, but hey, thank you so much. Thank you so much. If you just forgot to put the comment in or just put it in there, don't send an additional super chat. I'll just read it. But thank you. Thank you so much. I appreciate you guys' support so very, very much. You don't have to give me your money. So I appreciate it when people do. Helps me do all kinds of things with this channel. Most importantly, especially benefits for members, because if you are a member, not only we're doing a watch party for the movie Spaceballs tomorrow at 2 p.m. Eastern, but next month we are going to be doing a watch party for Godzilla -1 minus color.
Ooh, very cool.
Yes.
Awesome.
Yes. So you guys supporting my channel helps me be able to pay for the extra stuff with StreamYards, be able to give you guys extra things. So thank you so very much for helping me to give you guys cool stuff like that. And the last thing that we are going to talk about, well, let me answer this one real quick. Describe Hagrid's magical creatures motorbike adventure to someone who's never rode it before. Is it worth a typically massive wait time? Have you guys been on Hagrid's?
Yes.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
It's fun.
Hagrid's
It's fun.
Magical Creature Motorbike Adventure is one of the best attractions in all of Florida, I would say. One of the best coasters in all of the United States, I would further say. It's just that the theming is impeccable. The elements are really, really great. It can be described as a kind of an intimate family coaster with a reverse section and a literal vertical drop. not like
Yeah.
a drop, but literally drop the track right there.
Yeah. Boom.
Yeah, it is so good. If you've ever seen video of it, you can kind of get a sense for what the coaster is like. Obviously, there are no inversions, but I believe there are there 12 launches on that? How many-
It was.
There's quite a few.
It's a different type of a coaster in that sense. I mean, like I rode that and Velocicoaster the same day for the first time about 2 months ago, and I liked Hagrid's better than Velocicoaster because Velocicoaster is a lot. If you're a super coaster enthusiast, it's probably one of those coasters I would have liked more 15 or 20 years ago because I mean, whoa, Velocicoaster is coaster of coasters in that sense. Very fast, very flippy and upside down. You're all over the place. It's a scary but super fun coaster. Hagrid's is a little bit more laid back than that. Doesn't have it, but the storyline is really cool on Hagrid's Motorbike Adventure. And you see, what's the dog's the dog that has the 3 heads? What's
Buffy?
Buffy, yeah. So
Buffy.
and the Hagrid animatronic is like, whoa! I mean, I thought he was there. It was it's so cool. Like the theming of the coaster itself is just phenomenal. And I mean, I don't know, Universal has in so many ways in the last decade has outdone Disney, and like Hagrid's is definitely one of those coasters. I mean, like you compare Hagrid's to Slinky Dog, and it's not even a comparison. It's like, who was Slinky Dog made for? Hagrid's is much better.
Yeah, Hagrid's is. Oh, go ahead.
Oh, go ahead, my dear. Go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say, yeah, 7 launches. It's probably the definition of, I think, Intamin's Blitz coaster model. It's just you hang on for dear life. You're seeing some great thematic elements, and like I said, definition of a family coaster. Now, if you want something more intense, Velocicoaster is that. I mean, it's got the inversions, it's got the unbelievable extreme elements and thrill elements. I love it. It's not everybody's cup of tea. I've never met anybody who didn't like Hagrid's after experiencing it. I'll put it that way. Go ahead, Lorena.
let's see, Hagrid's. Oh, I love this. Many of the props came from an antique store in Kissimmee, especially the barrels. I believe it. There's, I would say it's not just the attraction with Hagrid's, because it is. Don't get me wrong, it is. But also with Hagrid's, and what Islands of Adventure has done extremely well, and they've taken this from their time at Disney, is to understand that the attraction starts the moment you walk into the queue. So when you walk into the queue for Hagrid's, when you're going through the gardens and then you're inside that castle, and then you see a lot of these different Easter eggs, like you'll see, you'll see like the goblet of fire, you'll see like the mermaid egg that's there, just all of the detail and the work that's done inside that, like we'll say ruins of a castle that you go through. You go through one room where there's like a dragon walking on top of you, and you feel like the fire that's going on. The scenes that they have where you see, the Hagrid projection that's there. It is without a doubt worth however long it takes you to wait. It's like Flight of Passage. 3 hours. It's worth the 3 hours waiting for that, because there's so much that's going on in the queue to get you ready to go on the attraction. And like Vash said, seven launches that are on there. It's not the same. It's not the same speed. There's different things that they do with the track, with different elements that you see. So there's a lot that goes into that coaster. Myself, because I'm weird and because I'm crazy, because I'm a thrill seeker, really crazy thrill seeker, I love the Velocicoaster. There's just something about riding the coaster along with the Velociraptors, and the everything that can go wrong will go wrong, and the immersion over the Megalodon. Lagoon. You feel like you're about to fall out. You're going up the top of the top hat, and you're starting to maybe rethink your life choices. Like, why should I have gone and did this? But it's okay. I'm doing it anyway. It really is
super high thrills. Velocicoaster, woo boy. Yeah, it's and I'll ride it again. Don't get me wrong, I'll ride it again. It's like have you ever been on Mako? Mako is scary too, but not as scary as Velocico. That's at SeaWorld. Mako's at SeaWorld, and it doesn't even invert. But it has to do with the way that you're harnessed into Mako. You're only harnessed. You're not harnessed over your shoulders. You're only harnessed on your lap. And so every moment you're going up and down, you feel like you could just fall right out of the coaster. So, and then Velocicoaster is less like, it's super intense. So if you love that, that's what Velocicoaster is all about, is that intensity, that thrill, that right in your face.
Yeah, it is, because you're supposed to feel like you're running exactly the way that the Velociraptors do in Jurassic World. So it's that whole thing, even the spiel from Chris Pratt's character. Talk about all the stuff that could go wrong, but they told me it's above my pay grade, so I'm not even worried about it. But you get to see the Velociraptors before you launch. They're actually right there, and they start running off too. So you have 2 launches. The first launch, which yay, this is great, we're having fun. That second one, you don't get a break. Just telling you right now, you go right into that second launch, and you're just like, oh shoot, what's going on? What's totally wrong? So they're two different ones. Hagrid's is more of a family coaster, which is really fun. How they have the ride vehicles set up for that, very, very ingenious and true to the books. With the Velocicoaster, that's where all the crazies go. Literally, it's not, if you want a calm coaster, no, a cool one to trick your parents to get on. I tell you that much.
I just like that you can go on Guardians one day and Velocicoaster the next day, and both times you get to see Chris Pratt. You're like, wow, he is everywhere.
Exactly. Hey, Tom, the Rogue Attraction says, do you think Hagrid's will go express with Epic opening? I don't know.
Good question.
That is
It's
a
a good
very good
question.
question. That's a
Um,
very good question.
yeah, because I think it hasn't gone express yet because of the capacity concerns, right? I think it
Correct.
was that attraction was designed to go 12 coasters, trains simultaneously. I don't think Intamin was able to achieve that. I think it's only max of 10, which obviously hurt the capacity throughput of that attraction. It's also it's very complicated. It's probably the most complicated coaster to operate. And its operation is pretty complex because of the block zones and everything like that associated with that attraction. I would say because they are expanding the maintenance area in the back to allow for as many as 10 train operation as soon as that coaster launches for the day.
Hmm.
Possibly if they can get that throughput consistent, it might be brought on to Express, and maybe in the lead up to Epic Universe, that would be a great time to debut that. They're working on it now, so possible.
Yeah, I can tell you. I mean, as soon as Islands of Adventure opens, there's two groups of people. Well, let's put it this way. Before Hagrid's and Velocicoaster, they were going over to the Hulk coaster. That's like the OG slingshot launch coaster. But you're either going to Hagrid's or you're going to Velocicoaster. And most
Bingo.
people are headed for Hagrid. So yeah, it's a huge capacity thing. With that. And to answer your question quickly, Jerry Mendoza, yes, Moaning Myrtle is in the public conveniences, aka the bathrooms over in Hogsmeade, not Diagon Alley, in
Mhm.
Hogsmeade, right next to Death Cap, Dogweed and Death Cap. It's right there, right next
Yeah,
to the Three Broomsticks, I believe. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
between Three
So you go
Broomsticks
in there and there's Moaning Myrtle. That freaked me out the first time it happened. I'm like, who is it?
well,
It was the coolest freaking thing.
it's interesting, Lorena. You see, I'm used to the Hollywood version of the restrooms in Hogsmeade, and those are themed to the nine. I mean, it's crazy the theming in there. You go over to Florida, it's a little bit miffed by that. I was like, wait a minute, hang on here. These restrooms aren't nearly as themed. So, differences between the two venues, I suppose.
Yeah, it's really cool. I came by there just like, do you know Moaning Myrtle's in the bathroom?
It's so funny. I love it.
Really, I need to use the restrooms over there more often or something. I don't know which restrooms I'm using.
It's funny. I want to say it's right up there with the frogs over in the new DreamWorks land. You can get them to say Budweiser.
But what?
I would say it's yeah. That's
It's great.
literally, if you go over to New DreamWorks Land, okay, you should see the parents' faces when they hear one of those notes. Like, did I say bud? Did I say why? Did I say And they're just like, wait. They really put that in there? Yeah, they really did. They really did put that in there.
That is awesome.
Put that in there. But yes, both of them.
Oh my god.
yes.
Someone told me. Yeah, someone told me. I said, is it just in
Myrtle.
the ladies' room? They're like, no,
Myrtle.
in the men's room too.
Nope. Can't confirm. And she laughs
Yeah.
at you while you're
Yeah.
Oh, great.
doing the business both ways. Doesn't matter. She'll laugh at you.
Stop looking.
I'm like, yeah, that's really kind of weird. But to wrap things up, and you guys have been amazing hanging out here with us with Vash Sky of That Park Place and T3PO with Ron Bradley of Follow Bradley's Fun. And this last one, because we're talking about capacity, and this is from Pirates and Princesses, written by one of my good friends, Mike Phelan. Epic Universe won't offer multi-park or single-day tickets. Question mark. Now, from what I have heard, this is information that's coming from the third-party ticket vendors, where Universal has basically said, there are not going to be multi-park or single-day tickets just for Epic Universe, meaning that there isn't, like, for example, it's like with two park tickets, you can bounce from park to park to park to park. That's the thing with the 2-day tickets. They're not going to let you do that right now as it stands for Epic Universe. So what have you gentlemen heard about this?
Couple of things surrounding this. So I actually predicted this about a year ago, in fact, for the opening of Epic Universe. Why did I predict this? Well, because Disney right now does something similar, at least with their value options for their tickets they offer in the summer. So there's a $396 offer for their value 4-park Magic ticket this summer, which includes a visit to all 4 parks. The only issue is that you have to visit each one of the parks on different days. There's no obviously park hopping, and you have to have visited each park once. So it's 1 day at Magic Kingdom, 1 day at Disney Animal Kingdom, 1 day at Epcot, 1 day at Disney Studios. There's no doubling up on any of the parks that are available. So that's a way that Disney could spread out the demand with a value ticket like that. Now, Universal's doing something very similar, but for obviously the opening of this park, but for similar reasons. It's demand based, right? When you reduce the price for a ticket like that, obviously demand goes up, and you want to spread that out. Well, similarly here, Epic Universe, peak demand will be when this thing opens. Think about it, folks. This is the first theme park in the theme park capital of the world to open in 25 years. That's one thing. 2, it will be one of the first ones in North America, I suppose, in a similar time frame. But more importantly than that, this is going to be the first from the big 2 theme park operators to open a theme park in North America in the social media era, which we know has been a huge boon for theme parks across the world, right?
Right.
Social media has really changed the game. And so we've never had a theme park from the big 2 open domestically in the social media era. That's never occurred before. So the demand for this is going to be outrageous. And obviously, Universal wants to prevent cannibalization from occurring for their existing theme parks, and they want to balance this load somehow. This is a way to do it. I understand it's not the most preferable method, obviously, but the reason why they're doing this is because, like I was saying before, with the capacity constraints and so forth, you can only have so many people in per day. Well, the same thing applies here, although it is less in this case because this is a brand new park. It can have 20 years to accrue new attractions and expand that capacity outright. Now, there will be plenty of it, but it will still be limited. So how do you curb that demand or enthusiasm and control it in some way and prevent cannibalization for your other theme parks in your lineup right there? Well, you do an offer like this in a very similar way that Disney did with their 4-park Magic ticket. This is kind of inevitable. Now, this is only going to last, I would say, at most the first couple of months, if not the first couple of days, if not the first couple of weeks, right? It's going to be very, very short. If you want to get in on the ground for a theme park like this, this is kind of what you'll have to go through. We're still waiting for an official announcement from Universal Orlando, which they did reply to somebody on Twitter saying, hey, details about this, about our ticket offers for the opening of Epic are forthcoming. Right. So we'll see what happens directly from them. What they'll do with annual pass holders is going to be very interesting because obviously they don't want it run by APs either. So that'll be a thing to kind of see there. And I think if you really want to get into this theme park and not have to pay for a multi-park option, well, I think those will be forthcoming as well. Also, too, these are brand new attractions, folks. A lot of these they've never built before anywhere ever. And so you really don't know what the operational reality is going to be like. Obviously, that's going to hurt your capacity, but at a point when it's going to be peak demand. So you had to factor all of these things in to understand what Universal's doing here. This makes sense because the alternative is reservations, which nobody likes, or you just deny people at the gates. This is a way to curb demand in a big way, and I think it's a smart move.
Plus, also to manage, Vash, like you were saying, operational capacity. Because when, and correct me if I'm wrong, when Super Nintendo World opened at Universal Studios Hollywood, access to that area of the park was restricted. Like if you were an annual pass holder, you got like that ramp up period to go, but I think you still had to have reservations in order to get in. Now with Epic Universe, we've got like what, 5 new quote unquote areas in this park. So I would
Yeah.
not be surprised if they limit capacity to start off with getting to each one, because there's only so much testing, and I'm pretty sure Universal knows this as opposed to Disney. Tiana's Bayou
Tiana's
Adventure is
Bayou
an
Adventure.
example.
There you go.
There's
At the same time.
things
Oh,
that
boy.
you're not going to see until you get the full practical load. It's just one of those things that's going to happen. In the IT business, we call it the warranty period. After you deliver software, there's going to be weird stuff that's going to happen, or that you think could possibly happen, but it's like we won't really know until we've got true use that's going on, which can happen. So they're trying to limit that. So I'm not surprised that they did this. I know some people are like, oh, we all want to go, which is true. But what you do not want a repeat of, and I'll say this, keep this in mind, you don't want a Tiana's Bayou Adventure thing happening to the factor of 10 right now with this part. Okay.
Man.
You're trying to ride Donkey Kong and the coaster and it's gone down and you can't go for the jump because it's broken.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. That would be so bad. And the funny thing about it, it's like even when Tiana's Bayou Adventure is working, and I'm glad that there's some people that like it and everything, but like I can never look at it without seeing a cross-dressing Splash Mountain. Let's just put it that way. That's what it looks like, because all you see is the red rocks that that've been covered with Hobby Lobby plastic decor. It's just, and it's sad for me because the idea of a ride called Tiana's Bayou Adventure that would have been made on its own, I think could have worked really, really well. But to redress Splash Mountain and then have it not work on top of it, I mean, I'll be honest, it's what Disney deserves, right? Like the fact that it doesn't work is exactly what Disney deserves for having made the mistake in the first place.
Ron, I now look at the removal of Chickapin Hill very differently. So thank you so much for that descriptor right there.
Yeah, like I said, it's Burr Rabbit's Revenge.
Broke into the old apartment, 42 stairs from the street.
Yeah,
So funny, dude.
Oh my gosh.
I'm gonna keep that to remind folks. So when folks are kind of complaining like, "Oh, Epic Universe is only," you don't want this happening. You
know what I wish, and we can never do this on Disney property, but boy, if we could, wouldn't it be fun to just hand out flyers to people walking into the Magic Kingdom that talked about the history of Avery Island? Like, before you go on this ride, you might want to know, because nobody knows. I was watching a live stream yesterday, and I mentioned the salt mine before the person got it. They had never been on the ride, and they were in the queue. And I'm like, oh, the salt mine's coming up. And they were like, what do you mean by the salt mine? I mean, everybody else, all the pixie dusters downplay this. They don't want you to know. Or some people be like, oh, well, the whole idea is, Tiana bought it and turned it around because, like, yeah, that's historical. But I mean, like, oh my gosh, Lorena knows. Like, the weird part of the queue is when you're in the salt mine, it actually feels the best because it's actually physically cooler. It's the physically, it's like the air conditioned part of the queue where you finally feel good after having spent an hour in
Mhm.
100-degree heat outside.
Yeah.
And then you look around and you're like, oh my gosh, this is really offensive to anybody that actually knows history.
Yeah, I bring it up every time I go through there. Every time I go through the salt mine, I bring that up, and it's just like, folks, you didn't truly do your homework.
No.
They use it as like an in joke. Oh, if found, please contact Avery. Really?
Oh God.
Really?
Oh, and
That's how you're going to refer to Avery Island? I mean, come on.
do
That
you
is
know who the seasoned
disgraceful.
veterans would be? I mean, I know it's a salt joke, but it is an assault on a certain whole bunch of people.
Absolutely.
It makes no sense, and it's very obvious that whatever research trip they were on, they didn't lead the Four Seasons, because I will tell you right now that hot sauce is one of the worst. I had to try it for myself. No, no. Some mass manufacturer. Let's put it this way: the Frank's hot sauce packets that you get for free over at Woody's Lunchbox or pretty much anywhere on Disney property, way better. Way better. Way better than what they shouldn't even call that stuff hot sauce. They should call it brown liquor substance, and not brown liquor in a good way. But folks, as always, time runs so fast here on the channel, and I'm so glad that you guys are here hanging out with us. Next week won't be streaming from the park next Saturday because my sister's in town. We're basically going to be over at Islands of Adventure and other places. But in 2 weeks, this stream will be back. This will be a permanent addition. I will have a theme park stream in studio answering your questions, giving you guys news and all of that on Saturdays, 12 noon Eastern. Have my friends dropping in here as available so you guys can pick their brains as well for information. Ron, what do you have going on to let the folks know about, and where can they find you?
Follow the Bradley's Fun is the name of the channel. We do a lot of family vlogs on the channel. You can, if you want that more information about Universal Hagrid's, the most recent one I did on Universal, I was actually with my sister and my niece who came into the United States from the Netherlands, so they have a very different perspective. But what we didn't buy the Express Pass. We did all single rider lines, and it shows you how fast you can get through if you use that method, because I will tell you, we all ended up sticking together even though we did single rider lines. So that was pretty cool. And then we do the daily dish, which is Monday through Friday, just before Culture Casino does his 6-minute daily. That leads right into that. And then if there's a That Park Place T3PO or WDW Pro stream or something like that after, it'll lead right into that part of the day. And of course, I do silly shorts on the channel all the time, silly or whatever, so there's a lot of that stuff on the channel, but that's just me playing around and having fun. But yeah, follow the Bradley's Fun. It's pretty easy. You just follow the Bradley's Fun. That's it. Oh, and I had a weird thing happen on TikTok, which I don't usually do TikTok, but I dropped a little 12-second TikTok video that went viral and has almost 2 million views. That's so weird.
Oh my gosh. Well, folks, you have to subscribe to Ron's channel. I'll put that link actually after the stream is over. I'll put that in the description box. If one of my amazing mods are in the chat, you guys can drop the link to Ron's channel so you guys can subscribe. Vash, what do you have coming up to let the folks know about, and where can they find you?
Well, the best place to find me is going to be at That Park Place, where we have daily content every single day. We also have it at T3PO, or That Park Place Podcasts Online, I suppose. But you can find me at any of those distinct locations. And T3PO, as we like to call it, we do live streams every single Tuesday at 2:30 Eastern. Interestingly enough, this weekend, which we usually have a Hollywood Backlot with Lou and you, well, it might be a special presentation all about the new contract that the IATSE members, I believe, the IATSE members of Hollywood just
IATSE.
may have secured for themselves, like this big 71-page document. Fascinating read because it could have huge implications for the entire entertainment industry and your favorite content being produced on streaming devices or in theaters. So really, really interesting stuff. Should be a whole lot of fun because, well, we usually answer your questions, but now we're going to answer a question you didn't even know you had. So how about that? Give that to Lou right there for that suggestion. But we're still working on the times for that. So usually these would take place on Sunday. We might be actually doing them Monday, but make sure you stay subscribed, hit that bell notification for updates on when that will be. But on That Park Place, we do live streams every single Thursday at noon Eastern. So definitely, go over to the channel and subscribe to that because, well, you know what, we would love you for it. So thank you so much for wanting to see me.
Absolutely, folks. Please do subscribe to That Park Place. Subscribe to T3PO as well. Awesome theme park content with very little pixie dust. You need a little bit for the magic, but no no doing lines of that stuff.
Yeah, don't do that.
Well,
Don't do
folks.
that.
Well, folks, of course, you can find me here. You can find me on X. You can find me on Instagram, of course, here, various live streams and videos. This evening at 8 p.m. Eastern, we will be having a live party for my favorite original series, Star Trek film, and that will be Star Trek VI, The Undiscovered Country. You have not heard Shakespeare until you have heard it in the original Klingon. Let's put it to you like that. So please do check that out tonight at 4 p.m. Eastern. I'm actually going to be on Retro Nerd Girl's channel. She is doing a watch party for Raiders of the Lost Ark. So you definitely do not want to miss that. On Sunday, of course, 8 p.m., the Welcome to Florida show with myself and with Culture Casino. We're going to be talking about Florida's Space Coast and all the cool things that you can check out over on our Space Coast. And of course, for channel members, we're going to be watching the latest episode of House of the Dragon before I have to go pick up my sister from the airport. So my live streaming schedule next week is going to be extremely light as we're basically going to be reliving our childhood by doing as many coasters at Islands of Adventure as we can get in one visit, among other things. So thanks you guys so much for being here. Thank you for subscribing to all of us. We sure do appreciate that. Dreamlight Valley, I will be playing again in about another week. I'm having a member appreciation stream for Disney Dreamlight Valley. What that means is if you play this game, channel members, you will be eligible to get the code to come and visit my valley in Disney Dreamlight Valley, where I have all kinds of resources and those pumpkins are. So I got plenty planted for you guys to come over and check out. So that's going to be fun. Glad to offer that to members as well. Yeah, she's going to be here. That's why I'm cleaning my house in between streams right now because she's going to be visiting, no kids with her. So yeah, we're going to be having some crazy amount of fun. Do you think Disney will survive its own implosion, and would they be able to escape the stink of wokeness? I think Disney is going to have to, like Fox on in Harry Potter novels. Fox kind of, he looks like crap, and then he incinerates himself, and he comes back, and he's this beautiful, like red. Yeah, that's pretty much what's gonna have to happen. I do not want Disney to die, but I think that they're going to have to learn a very, very hard lesson. And if they learn it right, they will come back better than before. So you guys have an awesome day. Yes, I know I can't. I'm excited to play Dreamlight Valley with you guys because you guys remember I did something. I put a situation in the game that they did not test for, and I had to talk to the software developers because they had to fix it. So yes, it's finally fixed after a couple months. So thank you guys so much for being here. Again, remember this stream will be back in 2 weeks with the theme park questions, theme park news with my amazing panelists. I love working with these guys. Please do subscribe to their channels, and we will see you next time. Bye.
Howl and holler from the heart.
This is pathetic.
Join in, folks. It's yodeling time. Here at Lester's.
Elephant green screen effect.